All right, check out our new sponsor, Greenwood Stocks. They want you to know how to be able to trade stocks and be your own boss and be free to travel the world by making passive income. We all need that passive income from stock market. What are you waiting for? Call or text 281-760-3170. If you didn't catch that, that's on your screen. Or check them out at social media, Greenwood Stocks, and catch them at Gmail, greenwoodstocktrading at Gmail, and the YouTube channel is Greenwood Stocks. Appreciate them for giving me the opportunity. Check them out. We out. All right, it was a question going around on Facebook for this past week. Is it harder to keep your O in boxing or MMA? Mixed martial arts. Let's talk about it. Excuse me, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate the love and support, man. And, check out the boxing MMA playlist. And ultimately, when you talk about MMA, Bellator, one league now. It's on TNT. Bellator is now doing Showtime. They had a little deal with the Zone for a minute. I don't know if they're still on the Zone, but you got one on TNT, Bellator messing with Showtime, and obviously UFC. ESPN has this partnership, right? And, easily in boxing, really in UFC you have one ultimate matchmaker. Now, I don't know if they have multiple matchmakers, like PBC's matchmaker is Luis the Cubist and somebody else. Top Rank's matchmaker is, Carl Moretti, legendary Top Rank matchmaker. And then you have Golden Boy has Eric Gomez and Robert Ortiz, and then whoever DAZN's Eddie Hearn, matchmaker is. That's who his matchmaker is. And really in boxing, they really matchmake you like a prospect your entire career. You have a situation where Adrian Broner wanted to fight Madonna. They wanted Adrian Broner to stay at the lower weight classes, and Adrian Broner went against Al's Will. He went up there and he gave it a try, And people act like it was the worst thing that happened in Broner's career. And Broner next week on Showtime, because remember, if you're not a boxing fan, Broner is supposed to fight Madonna on pay-per-view, and they changed it like a month or some change out before the fight. And, they act like it was the worst thing that happened for Broner. Broner came back the next week on Showtime. He acted like it never happened. He never got knocked out. He was very cheerful and upbeat. And you remember he kind of left. They kind of escorted him to the back. And, ultimately he finished that fight with a lot of heart. He could have easily quit. But, you have sometimes fighters want to go off the trail. For the most part, they use Adrian Broner's fight versus Madonna as a cautionary tale. You remember Floyd down the line said Broner should have followed Al's plan. And ultimately, that was going to happen to Adrian Broner. But you know what? He took a risk. He took a chance. And chances make champions. And ultimately, he didn't become the ultimate champion. Had he beat Madonna, he probably would have went on and had made $100+ million. But, he took a chance. And maybe he did. You fuck around. You barely get past Madonna. Then you get there and you find another Madonna. So ultimately, if you're not a great boxer, it's only so long they can hide you. And ultimately, Andre Berto went through the same thing. He was like one of the first Al Heyman young guys to really drain HBO out their money. And they match made him so long, and eventually he had to fight Victor Ortiz. And, Victor Ortiz put them hands on him. And ultimately, that's kind of what happens in boxing. They really, tailor-make these fights, and these guys will eventually got to fight somebody. I forget who made this line. It says it's only so long that fake thugs can pretend. I think Jay-Z said it, but ultimately, you really can't. UFC you don't really have that. Early on, they may matchmake a fighter, to build them up, but ultimately in UFC, you see a lot of guys losing, especially a lot of guys at the top. I think Kareem Usman, I know for a fact, in Ngannou, he lost some fights early on. Masvidal lost 15 fights, and he got knocked out once. Let's see, pull up Chris Usman's UFC. Yeah, Usman has never lost. He is 19. Oh, he lost once. Excuse me. Yeah, he lost a decision to hold on. But they got all wins here. They said he lost once. They're not showing the loss. All of them wins, but he lost once according to here. But like I said before, even the young fighters a lot of time, or the fighters that become champions a lot of time, they have losses coming up, and it doesn't really matter. What's the old girl name? Oh man, the one that Clarissa wants to fight. Jesus. I'm just drawing a blank because I like her. Emmanuel Nunes, excuse me, yeah. even Amanda Nunes had some losses early in her career, and she got better, and now she's 32 years old, and she's on top of the world. You know, she'd be 33 in May, the end of May 30th. And you look at her UFC record, and it's like she's 21-4, and she lost her second fight, her fifth fight. Maybe it's another sheet, but she got 4 losses. She got better, and she went back to the lab and got better. You know, Israel Sanye, that is Israel Sanye. He moved up, right? He moved up his last fight. He got beat. Nobody is really clowning him, and he'll go back and he'll be a champion going back down in weight. You know, to 185 pounds. He suffered his first fight. He's gonna be back versus Marvin Vettoriti in the second fight. So he lost in March 06. He back June 12th. So you know the difference is at one point boxing was at the point that you know UFC was at where a loss didn't matter. You still loved your favorite fighter. UFC, it's harder to be undefeated in the UFC because one, you fight so often now. 2, you got to worry about kicks to the head. 3, you got to worry about wrestling. And UFC with the smaller gloves, it's just a matter of time to get caught. You have some guys in UFC that's undefeated, but John Jones has a disqualification. He may at one point can make a case that he is the best UFC fighter ever. Conor McGregor just lost. You know, so the losing the UFC is not that bad. It's kind of what boxing was post this era. Post 2012, I mean pre-2012, that's what boxing was about. Now in UFC, you know, it's where boxing was. And you got so many different challengers throughout UFC, and so many new champions coming, or so many new young fighters coming, that it's tough. It's tough, and a lot of these fighters are over 30 that we talking about. You know, a lot of these guys are over the hill. So in UFC, you got one ultimate matchmaker, and that's Dana White. So you can't pick and choose who you want to fight unless you earn that right. And even Conor McGregor tried to pick a cherry pick in versus Poirier 2. He got his ass whooped. He tried to cherry pick, and he got his ass whooped. So, you know, you never know in the UFC. One kick, you got to defend against the hands. You got to defend against the feet. You got to defend against the takedown. You got different martial arts. It's just not wrestling. It's just not boxing. You're striking, or you got, you know, jiu-jitsu, Brazil jiu-jitsu. You got other, you know, martial arts. So, and a lot of people that do martial arts, they don't know how to slip the jab. You know, they don't know how to slip the jab. It's a lot different teaching than most martial arts. You know, but yeah, I think it's a lot harder to become undisputed in the MMA. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out anytime. You got business, question, inquiry, response, your video requests. All our social media subscription. Fast way to reach me is Twitter, and then Facebook and Instagram. Links there if you want to make a video request. Hit me up there, or Twitter the fast way, or you know, advertise your business on the channel. Let me know, or whatever else you got. Hit me up. Want to make a financial donation? Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link there as well too. Best way to donate. Share the video. One time for the one time. Peace.